everyone, welcome back. I should have my thoughts and feedback on the new countdown game mode from phase 1 of the PTS tomorrow, so make sure you're subscribed and notifications are turned on if you don't want to miss that one. Today, however, I wanted to go over some little kind of tidbits of news to have come out since the PTS went live, like the name of the new season, Season 9, which is actually quite interesting and gives some insight into the story and the lore for Season 9, among other things. Drop a like if you enjoy this one, and with that said, let's begin. So firstly, let's start with the biggest reveal to come out of the PTS once it went live. Oh, before we do, this could be considered a spoiler for the new season, so if you want to be completely blind, step away for the next couple of minutes and then come back. Alright, with that out of the way, the new season name appears to have been revealed in the collectibles tab on the PTS. Here you can see a screenshot of the new season, and as you can see, it's called Hidden Alliance, which appears to all but confirm exactly where the story is going, especially when you consider the choice of NPCs used in the new countdown game mode. I think we are finally going to learn more about the hunters and their relationship with the Black Tusk. In the countdown game mode, they are working together, but we don't know yet under what conditions. And what I mean by conditions are, have they been ordered by someone to ally themselves with the Black Tusk to fight their common enemy, as in us, or are they all under the same kind of leadership? Is Natalia Sokolova, the leader of the Black Tusk, also the leader of the hunters? And what are the hunters? I've not been that involved with the lore, to be honest. It's not really my kind of forte. I've never really been involved much in lore in most games apart from Destiny, but I like to think that most of us want to know more about the hunters, and if the story focuses on the hunters, this is something I'm very much going to be looking forward to learning more about. 6 years down the line, and we still know very little about what the hunters are, who controls them, does anyone control them? There's so many questions, and I would hope this new season really starts to plug into that Hunter Black Tusk relationship. Moving on, and we do have some other bits of news about the PTS. I've got a list of things that I want to run through here, so I'm just going to go down my list and give you my feedback on them and my thoughts on them. So before the PTS went live, Yannick had this to say on Twitter: "Agents, before we all jump on the PTS, there's something I'd like you all to keep in mind. The year we've spent working on the game in silence was not spent making one gigantic comeback update. It was spent organising and preparing for continuous support of the game. The importance of this update is not in its size, but in it heralding a return to normal with more to come after that. If this update doesn't contain the changes or content you were hoping for, just remember that there are more updates coming throughout the year. For now, I hope we can all share a happy moment and rejoice that support for the game is resuming. We're live again." So I will be making a separate video on this comment, so I'm not going to say too much here, but if you think that this new content is light, which I think some people do in terms of actual, game modes and that sort of stuff, this might explain why. Also, it is good to hear that the game is going to be getting continuous support. We know we're going to get at least a year's worth of support. It's possible we're going to be getting a lot more than that based on this comment. So moving on, Yannick has also confirmed the Foundry, Bulwark and Future Initiative chess piece and backpack will be in the general loot pool for Title Update 15. The exotics will remain exclusive to the raid. I think that was the best thing for them to do. I know a lot of people have been asking for the chess piece and the backpack to be put in the general loot pool, so it kind of makes sense for that to happen. But I've always been a firm believer that if you're going to have a really hard piece of content like the raid, there needs to be some exclusive rewards to it, the same way that Destiny does it. So leaving the exotics behind that exclusive content, I think is the best way round this. In my video on Monday, I went over how the expertise system worked, and I explained that the expertise system will require exotic components and other materials in order to upgrade items. I think I said you need about 100 exotic components to fully upgrade an item. It's actually about 110. So there is actually going to be an increase in our material and exotic component stash. For example, it's been confirmed that the exotic components will increase from 20 that we can hold now up to 100. I think printer filament and other resources will also be getting an increase in the PTS. I think one of the upgrades requires over 300 printer filaments, but you can only hold 300 printer filaments, so that's a almost, it's not really a bug, it's just that they haven't actually increased the size of that particular currency in the PTS, which has caused problems. Sadly, there is no news on whether there will be a stash increase, and I would be very surprised if we get one. So you've probably watched a lot of countdown videos at this point, and you've probably seen that they're all on one map, because there is only one map, which is a power plant that we need to kind of take back. Yannick has confirmed that there is scope for more maps in the future. As you will hear in my feedback on Countdown, which as I said should be tomorrow, the map itself is really quite awesome. It looks beautiful, which was never really in doubt. But like anything, you play it enough and you know it's eventually going to become stale. So it's good to hear that more maps are something that we could and should get, and the fact that Yannick's actually come out and said it, I think it was in a stream, I can't remember exactly where he said it, but the fact that he's come out and said that this is something that they could look into for the future, I think that's really good news, and I think it has to happen. I think that once the honeymoon period kind of wears off, after maybe a couple of weeks or a couple of months, people are going to want something new, and so having maybe a new map maybe 6 months down the line, start of season 3, or it could be what, season 11, 12, whatever it might be, that would be really good. Yannick has confirmed that the current difficulty scaling for Countdown is wrong, and I suspect further balancing will make the game mode a little bit more difficult. This will be great news for many people. I know that one of the biggest kind of bits of feedback to come out of the Countdown PTS is the fact that it's too easy. So it's going to be good news that the difficulty will be increased. I think I myself am happy about that. As I said before though, I'd much prefer the choice of what difficulty that I want to play the game mode, rather than just have it be changed to a bigger number. I suspect that's not going to happen. Why? Well, I think it's mainly to avoid matchmaking issues, which will be inevitable if players get to choose what difficulty they want to play on. The game doesn't really have the audience it once did, we all know that, and I suspect they want to make sure everyone gets to play the mode, regardless of difficulty, without having to wait a very long time to find other agents. You can imagine if someone's fairly new to the game and they maybe want to jump in on normal difficulty, the chances are they're going to really struggle to find players to play with. If you're playing on maybe something like Heroic, that might be the most popular. I'm not too sure. Challenging might be the most popular. I'm not sure, but what it does do is it fragments the player base, and that might cause matchmaking issues, which is why I think they're just going to have one difficulty over the entire game mode. But that's it, guys. At this stage, there's really nothing else that I've been able to find that's worth talking about. Yannick did say the Countdown mode was intended to be a short, intense experience for the players who don't have a lot of time. It's meant to be a little bit more casual, like a mini raid. You know, they can kind of jump in, grab a ton of loot and jump out. This is something, again, I'm going to talk about in my feedback and thoughts video. At this stage, we don't know when Phase 2 of the PTS is going to go live. Phase 1 will close today at 2 PM UK time, so depending on when I put this video out, it may have already closed. I'm going to assume that Phase 2 of the PTS will be this Friday, which is 1 week since Phase 1 went live. And with Phase 2, we will be getting, you know, new gear, weapons, and more importantly for me, we're going to be getting the exotics that they've talked about in the patch notes, which is exciting because I'm looking forward to using the exotics. Actually, I'm really looking forward to the new gear set. So let's not new gear set, new brand set, I believe it is. So let's hope that that works out really well. But that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for sticking around all the way until the end. Really do appreciate it. Should have, again, my Countdown thoughts and video feedback video out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Until the next one, Epic out.